Hi everybody, it's Tatiana and today I'm coming to do a book review and I am reviewing The Last Thing You Surrender by Leonard Pitts Jr. Now, this is different from how, can I set this back here and not hold this? I hope that works. This is different from how I will typically do the month of February because this was our buddy read or group read that Dee Dee selected for #ReadSoLit, and typically because I participate in the live show with or live discussion with Dee Dee at the end of the month or the beginning of March, whenever our schedules all work to make that happen, I don't do a single review or a separate review about the group read. And I realized after reading this book how much of a disservice that might be, especially for someone who has not read the book, who doesn't want all of the discussion and spoilers that are provided when we do the live discussion in both us talking and in the comments. So yeah, for those of you who have not participated in the #ReadSoLit group read, but you are interested in possibly reading this book just at a later time when it works for you, here is a separate review. This story is by Leonard Pitts Jr., who is a whole sleeper sale. I didn't know who this man was. He's a freaking Pulitzer Prize winner. This book came out in 2019. I'd never heard of it. Didn't see any production, promotion for it. I don't know how Dee Dee found it. She does her thing and she finds things, and somehow she found this piece of magic. It follows 3 characters, 1 white, 2 black, and they're all from the same town, same city in Alabama, but they have different experiences in dealing with life in Jim Crow South. The character who is white experiences being helped, and this is in the description, this is not a spoiler, experiences being helped at a time where he is significantly injured and otherwise would have died by a black man, and then that black man dies in the process of helping him. And then you have the 2 black characters who live in the same, again, are from the same city, live in the same city, dealing with the prejudice of Jim Crow South, and yet being affected by it in 2 different ways because they have had 2 different experiences and 2 different paradigms, even having lived in the same area. I don't know if I'm doing that, if I did that well, but and one is female, one is male, and the male is conscripted to fight in World War II, and in doing that he comes to experience a closeness relationship that he's never allowed himself to experience before, a camaraderie with people that he's never allowed himself to experience before, and it changes him. The female character experiences something that she's never experienced before, and it changes her, and it also changes the community around them. So beyond that horrible explanation of the plot that still somehow managed to be spoiler free, this book is magic. It is written so beautifully. It is heartbreaking, and I read before bed, and I kept telling myself I'm going to read and I'm going to get to a chapter that's not going to be heartbreaking, and I failed every night in finding that before I went to bed because it's during World War II, which is a horrible time in world history. So you have all the dynamics of what's going on with that and how it's affecting people locally as well as people who are serving. It spans so much and it does it so well. This is a 500-page book, and I legit read this book in 7 days. And I have a full-time job. There were no days off while I was reading this book. And I still watched the TV shows that I like to watch during the week. How the heck that happened? And I didn't read it on the weekend. How I managed to finish this book in 7 days, I do not know, except for the fact that I was glued to every single moment that happened in this book. My heart broke. My heart was lifted a little bit. Then it broke again. Then it was lifted a little bit. I don't like reviews that legit just say it's so good, but this is so good. And I don't know how I've never heard of this author before, but I want to read the other novels that he's written because this is so good. His writing is beautiful. The way he paints a picture, it makes it impossible to read this story without feeling the story and without feeling involved. Now, I will say, because this is a World War II novel, there are copious amounts of the N-word all over this book. There are tons of racial slurs. I will say this. What I really loved about this is, as someone who has family members who served in wars, and a family member who I got to speak to who served in World War II, and hear their experiences for what they could talk about. I'm so glad that this book exists for people like me who have heard stories of war from people who they love, who have served in the war, and hearing it from their perspective. Sometimes it sounds like this is just, you're exaggerating this, or this is too much to be true. And having a book like this, even with it being fiction, having it be so close to experiences that people in my family had in serving in the war, being Black, it hit home so much for me. As particularly after I finished the last page, I closed the book and I just sat and thought. I cannot recommend this book highly enough. Please read this. It is an absolute work of art that everyone should know about, and how so many of us who are avid readers have never heard of this dude. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but this is my waking moment and I'm sharing it. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out.